Testing, 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 testing. Can you hear me? I repeat, testing, 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 testing. Hello, I'm back. It's Dr. Xavier, and today we will be going over more SCPs. The Foundation gave me a pretty good review last time, and they said they wanted more. So so they ask, and I'll deliver. I suppose. Well, enough messing around, and let's say I get to these SCPs already. Got it? Okay, hold on, let me just get ready. Okay, all set. 1 second. Okay, all set to read some SCPs. Well, documents. Our first one for today is going to be SCP-11. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. Item SCP-0011 in the area surrounding it are cleaned once every day for safety purposes. Cleaning should start at least 30 minutes after sundown. Cleaning should always be performed by at least 2 personnel who are advised to note anything unusual about the item or the debris cleaned up. In a situation where the item cannot be cleaned for more than 2 days, local residents must be contacted and instructed not to approach the item. Containment Procedures Nullified 2004. Description 2000 SCP-11 is a Civil War memorial statue located in Woodstock, Vermont. The statue is the image of a young male soldier holding a musket at his side and is carved out of a granite corridor within the area. Occasionally, SCP-11 has been observed lifting its musket in the sky to fire at birds which attempt to land or defecate on it. Reports detail that its movements produce soft grinding sounds, but do not cause any structural failure. I believe the gunfire is very similar to that of a standard firearm, despite observations that the item loads granite bullets and granite powder into the musket, which is also unharmed by the firing. In spite of its efforts, some fecal matter does manage to strike SCP-11, and it has reportedly become distressed when it has had large amounts of feces on it, on some rare occasions even firing at humans. Okay, well, if it can kill people, then why is it safe? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Addendum. Those assigned to maintain SCP-11 are to see Document 11-1 for instructions. Document 11-1 Maintenance Brief. Additional information. SCP-11's seeming sentience has increased since the first report activity in 1995. As of 2004, the item containment procedures have been dropped, but it remains under constant observation. Recorded below are landmark events and its activity. Timeline: March 12, 1995. Woodstock resident reports the statue's eyes moving. First sign of activity. September 30th, 1995. Statue shoots musket for the first time. November 9th, 1995. Statue begins shooting at birds from the sky. January 25th, 1996. Regeneration as SCP-11 containment procedures begin. April 14th, 1997. SCP-11 observed moving casually and looking around. May 3rd, 2000. After caretaker, classified, jokingly shouts, "Good shot," to SCP-11. The, the item replies, "Thank you," in a reportedly very human voice. First speech for a statue. No, November. I'm sorry. October 22nd, 2001. SCP-11 has a conversation with caretaker. Classified. Shoot 2001. Shooting of bird stops. February 6, 2002. At the imploring of classified, SCP-11 steps down from its pedestal and reaches a human level of self-awareness. November 10th, 2004. Containment procedures dropped. Custody of SCP-11 transferred to, classified. May 17th, 2005. Reports that SCP-11 is romantically attracted to her. August 29th, 2006. Most recent psych test reports an IQ of 133. And that is the end of the document. Well, can't really blame this thing. Who likes getting pooped on, huh? Stupid birds. Okay, anyway. Time to move on to SCP-12. SCP-12, Object Class, Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-12 is to be kept in a darkened room at all times. If the subject is exposed to light or seen by personnel using a light frequency other than infiltrated, remove personnel for mental health screening and immediate physical. Object is to be encased in an iron shielded box, suspended from the ceiling, with a maximum clearance of 2.5 meters, 8 feet from the floor, walls, and any openings. Description: SCP-12 was received by archaeologist K.M. Sandoval during the evacuation of a northern Italian tomb destroyed in a recent storm. The object, a piece of handwritten musical score entitled "On Mount Gothia," part of a larger set of sheet music, appears to be incomplete. Red and black ink, first thought to be some form of berry or natural dye ink, was later found to be human blood from multiple subjects. The first personnel to locate the sheet, Site 19 Special Salvage, had two members descend into insanity, attempting to use their own blood to finish the composition, ultimately resulting in massive blood loss and eternal trauma. Following initiative investigations, multiple test subjects were allowed to access the score. In every case, the subjects mutilated themselves in order to use their own blood to finish the piece, resulting in subsequent symptoms of psychosis and massive trauma. Those subjects who managed to finish a section of the piece immediately committed suicide, declaring the piece to be impossible to complete. Attempts to perform the music have resulted in a disagreeable cacophony, with each instrumental part having no correlation or harmony with other instruments. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I do not write music or try to complete it. Sorry. That one was pretty disturbing. Next, we have SCP-13. SCP-13, Object Class, Safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-13 are to be kept in a secure storage vault at Site-66. Exposed subjects are to be monitored for difference between their symptoms. Exposed subjects are to be interviewed daily, and any changes in perception are to be logged. Description: SCP-13 is collective designation of 242 cigarettes with displays of similar anomalies. Most common external detail between the instances is the presence of the words "Blue Lady" handwritten on each cigarette in blue ink. Subjects who consume the contents of SCP-13 through through inhale through inhalation will begin to perceive themselves as a specific unidentified woman. Subjects Subjects have described the woman to be aged between 25 and 35 years old, standing approximately 1.6 meters tall, with an estimated weight of between 50 and 55 pounds. Additional recurring details include cropped dark hair, blue eyes, and bright blue lipstick. Immediately after consuming an instance of SCP-013, subjects will gradually begin to perceive reflections of themselves as having features of the woman, and will gradually perceive their bodies changing to reflect her appearance over the course of the following weeks. All changes are entirely mental. The subject's body does not change outwardly, only their perception of themselves. This is alterations of permanent and cannot be reversed. SCP-013 was discovered after the suicide of an Ian Miles packed in a large cardboard crate in his apartment. A cursory search of the apartment uncovered several hundred sketches of a figure strongly resembling the one perceived while under SCP-13's effect. Miles' body had been a massive overdose and draped over a handwritten note, untranscribed below. During the investigation of Miles' apartment, one civilian investigator became affected by SCP-13's effect. An embedded agent soon contacted the nearest site. The subject, the artifact, and related evidence were extracted and contained. Currently 217 instances of SCP-13 cigarettes are contained at Biosite 66. 25 SCP-13 cigarettes are contained at Research Sector 9, pending further research into similar anomalies and effects. Addendum. Below is a note which was acquired along with SCP-13. I saw her everywhere. That blue lady. I feel like I should know her, but I can't remember. I love her, but I don't know why. She's so beautiful and sweet and clear, but I don't know anymore. Her favorite flavor. Where did you go? I miss you. And that is the end of the document. Well, I don't smoke anyway. Okay. Next is SCP-14. Object Class: Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-14 is to be a window. Music is to be kept in sight, classified, in a chair with arms, preferably facing a window. Music should be supplied on a regular basis, preferably constantly. This music should not include pieces of originating after 1937. A security camera should be present in SCP-14's room. Description: SCP-14 is a Caucasian male appearing to be approximately 30 years of age, with black hair, brown eyes, and somewhat round face. Records indicate his name to be Robert Chetford. Confined in 1915 to the Norwich Asylum in Connecticut for delusional insanity, claiming that he had been cursed to live forever and was slowly turning into a concrete. In consequence, the asylum closed down in 1937, and the patients were transferred to various other facilities. SCP-14 came to the Foundation's attention in 19 classified from immobile and show no signs of aging. Further investigation determined that acquisition was warranted. SCP-14 is all outward appearances a normal man, but he does not appear to age and shows no signs of possessing metabolism. He does not eat, drink, perspire, or in any other way demonstrate life functions. He breathes only to speak, and apart from his eyes and vocal apparatus, is to all appearance utterly immobile. He has never shown any evidence or pressure ulcers, despite his position not only verified for several decades. Neither do his muscles or atrophied. He can converse normally, but he shows little knowledge of or interest in events since his confinement. Sorry about that. Addendum. Note: frankly, were I to interview this man without knowing his history, I think he was perfectly sane and well-adjusted individual who happens to be a quadriphilic as it is. I have to conclude that he's ultimate proof of the idea that mind rules the body. I think he's concrete and will live forever. And so he's as close to both as he can be. Somehow. Dr. Classified. To be honest with you, I don't really have feelings on this one. Okay. Moving on to SCP-15. Sorry about that, the page is loading. Object Class, Euclid. Special containment procedures. SCP-15 is impossible to move and is contained on site. A gap of at least 2 meters, 6 feet, needs to be maintained around the entire structure containing SCP-15 at all times. And no structures of any kind are to make contact with SCP-15's current containment structure. Exploration is permissionable, but only in teams of 3, with full safety lines and GSP tracking. Any protrusions from SCP-015 must be capped and sealed immediately, with the new site recorded and lodged. No aggressive action is to be made within SCP-15's No hand or power tools are allowed anywhere inside SCP-15. No repairs or maintenance are allowed to be made anywhere on SCP-15's area. Description: SCP-15 is massive pipes, vents, and boilers, and other various plumbing apparatuses, completely filling a warehouse and classified. The pipes appear to grow when they are not under observation, attempting to connect to nearby structures via sewer systems and underground plumbing. SCP-15 contains, at current estimate, over 190 kilometers, aka 120 miles, of pipes, ranging in diameter from 2.5 centimeters to over 1 mile. Some pipes appear new, while others are rusted and leaking. Pipes have been reported as being made of bone, wood, steel, pressed ash, human flesh, glass, and granite. No pipes composed of lead, PVC plastic, copper, wood, steel, pressed, or any other traditional material for the for the production of pipes have been found. SCP-15 reacts to tools and aggression. Any personnel acting violently, carrying tools, or attempting to damage or repair SCP-15 in any way will trigger a reaction. Any pipes near the subject will burst, spraying mercury, rats, a species of insect not yet identified, ground glass, seawater, entrails, and molten iron. Pipes will continue to burst around the subject until death or retreat. SCP-15 was cut back to its current structure after attaching to 11 other structures in the area. SCP-11 personnel have been killed, and 20 more are still missing. Reports have been made of banging and steaming coming out from within SCP-15. And if you guys want to have a look of SCP-15, here you go. That is indeed SCP-15. Sorry, he's a little blurry. Anyway, on to SCP-16. Object Class Keter. Oh, here's our first Keter. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-16 is to remain within the confines of a 5 by 5 by 5 meter room at all times, maintained at a temperature not to exceed 0 degrees Celsius. SCP-16 itself is to remain in a Petri dish in the containment cube at all times, unless directed otherwise by Level 4 or O5 personnel. Full documentation of experimentation with SCP-16 must be submitted before and after samples and duplications of SCP-16 must be taken. Failure to follow these procedures will result in termination or reassignment. As Class D personnel, only authorized personnel may be permitted to obtain samples or of anything with SCP-16 under L5 containment conditions. If an outbreak does occur, despite the following aforementioned procedures, direct base personnel are to implement a Code Sigma lockdown and and containment plan, affected personnel are to be terminated on site by security forces wearing standard mission-oriented protective posture (MOPP) for short. Anti-biological and anti-chemical ex- equipment should the infection not be contained after 48 hours, the on-site nuclear device is to be detonated. Remaining personnel are not to be evacuated under any circumstances. SCP-16 has been shown to survive for up to 6 hours in hard surfaces and, and up to several minutes in air. High density and ultraviolet light and high concentrations demonstrated to be effective in disinfecting and non-organic surfaces. Description: SCP is a blood-borne pathogen. This recovered from a mine worker and classified, who injured himself while working in a deep coal seam. By deep coal seam, said wound became contaminated with coal dust from the mine, possibly infecting the worker with a dormant spores. Over the next several days, SCP-16 proceeded to infect the remaining employees at the mining camp, as well as the CDC crisis team dispatched to deal with the epidemic. Foundation personnel then took over the investigation and terminated all affected personnel. Patient Zero was brought into captivity, and mine shaft was collapsed by explosive device. SCP-16 has incubation period ranging from 24 hours to 2 years, depending on the presence and number of those human hosts in the area. First symptoms resemble the common cold and include itchy eyes, runny nose, coughing, and bloody aches. Phase 2 begins in 48 hours and consists of a controlled form of hemorrhagic fever. Never heard of that. As the organism causes a small amount of blood to become aspirated in the lungs, creating an astral effect. During Phase 3, the host crashes and bleeds out, bleeding profusely from every body orifice, including the nose, tear ducts, anus, skin pores, mouth, urethra, and in case of females, vagina. Blood pressure skyrockets through the final stage. Hosts have been observed projectile vomiting blood to distances of over 5 meters. Should the host survive this near total extinguishing, the pathogen will become dormant once more, returning to incubation phase. What discussions SCP-16 from other strains of hemorrhagic fever, such as Ebola, Marburg, is that's unusual response. The high stress should the subject undergo a high stress solution, such as a life-threatening crisis, the organisms will change its survival tactic from rapid reproduction to the rewriting of a host DNA and simulation of rapid cell division. Major psychological changes occur within the first 24 hours, with complete body reconstruction occurring within 2 weeks' time. Most hosts did not survive the process due to the heavy demands made on the body. Interesting side effect of this transformation is an increased aggressive urge. It is believed that this may be an attempt to maximize the spread of the virus in a manner similar to rabies. On another note, subjects who undergo bodily transformation will no longer appear to exhibit SCP-16's hemorrhagic properties. However, subjects infected by transformed hosts will still undergo the normal SCP infection process. Addendum: Experiment log of SCP-16's transformation properties. Subject D-O-16-1. D-Class personnel infected by SCP-16 upon first showing symptoms. Subjects' quarters were slowly flooded with water over a 24-hour period. SCP-16 mutation into a pteromorphic state, transforming subjects' lungs into gills. Subject survived for 2 or more weeks as SCP-16 transformed its limbs into fins and caused its eyes to atrophy and enhance its sense of hearing into a sentient type echolation ability. Subject was terminated by draining all water from its quarters, causing it to asphyxiate. Body was subsequently cremated without autopsy. Subject D-16-2, D-Class personnel infected by SCP-16. Upon first showing symptoms, subjects' quarters were slowly flooded with water. Over a 24-hour period, SCP-16 mutated into a pteromorphic state, causing subject to undergo a rapid muscular growth and increased bone growth on knuckles state, causing subject then attempted to escape from confinement by punching through the reinforced steel door. Subject was not successful and died by drowning. Note: same situation, 2 different responses. Interesting. Subject D-16-3. D-Class personnel infected by SCP-16. Subject was previously a chemical engineer who poisoned his wife upon discovering her adultery. Upon first showing symptoms, subject's quarters were slowly flooded with water. Over a 24-hour period, SCP-16 mutated into a pteromorphic state, were slowly flooded with causing subject to grow an unusual organ on his chest, consisting of a chamber and 2 separate tubes. Organ continued to take in the water and swell in size until Foundation personnel, realizing what SCP-16 might be attempting, terminated the subject by gunshot. Organ was found to contain several gas sacs filled with gas and oxygen. Subject D-16-4. D-Class personnel infected by SCP-16. Subject was told to concentrate on forming wings. No stress was applied. SCP-16 did not mutate into a pteromorphic state. Subject died of extenuation during Phase 3. Subject D-16-5. D-Class personnel affected by SCP-16. Subject was told to concentrate on forming wings and placed in a box suspended 305, aka 1,000 feet above mine shaft. Timer was placed outside the box on subject. Was told to indicate to the time to release. SCP mutated in a pteromorphic state, causing subject to grow a tentacle-like organ on his left wrist, similar to a spider's to the spider's spinnerets. Subject extended said organ through one of the box's air holes and extruded a strong silk-like substance, which it then used to secure the box to the cable. Subject was terminated when the countdown reached 0 and the bomb detonated. Footnotes: due to their similarities as fatal consciousness that stimulated the product of excess organs, a possible link to SCP 1801 is under investigation. That was pretty disturbing SCP. And it's our first Keter, so we're probably going to have many more to come. Okay. SCP-17. Object Class, Keter. 2 Keters in a row. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-17 is contained in a glass cage 100 centimeters by 50 centimeters by 50 centimeter, centrally suspended in a concrete room measuring 6 meters by 6 meters by 4 meter, attached to the walls, ceiling, and floor of the room are highly dense arc lamp spotlights pointing directly at the cage to ensure that SCP-17 is constantly exposed to light from every angle. Personnel assigned to SCP-17 control room are to monitor and the functionality of spotlights in the emerge generator system and call for maintenance immediately upon noticing a burnt out lamp or issue with the generator. The only circumstance under which personnel are allowed entrance is to replace lamps. Personnel entering the room are requested to wear designated full-body reflective suits and must be cautioned not to step in front of a functional wall of functional spotlights. Description: SCP-17 is a humanoid figure, approximately 80 centimeters in height, and similar to a small child, with no identifying features. SCP-17 seems composed of a shadowy, smoky, like shroud. No attempt to find any object beneath the shroud has been successful, but the possibility has not been ruled out. SCP-17's reaction to shadows cast upon it is immediate and swift. SCP-17 leaps at the object casting the shadow, and immediately encloses it in its shroud, whereupon it returns to its normal size, leaving no trace of the object behind. Additional notes: personnel with beta clearance or higher should see document 017-1. That was short, but it sounded deadly. Okay, next, SCP-18. Object Class, Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-18 is to be contained in its specially metal restraint inside of a 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter sealed box lined with heavy padding. The sealed box is to be submerged in the center of the 10 meter by 10 meter by 10 meter holding tank. If SCP is to break free from the holding box, base goo will slow down kinetic activity enough for proper retrieval by containment personnel. Personnel entering SCP-18's holdings chamber is to wear specialized plating found inside of SCP-18 observation and a breathing apparatus before being lowered into the polyethylene tank. If SCP-18 is loose outside of the tank, personnel are advised to secure themselves in a separate room and close doorways or hatches to isolate SCP-18 until containment teams arrive. Description: SCP-18 has the appearance of a super ball made by Whammo Company in 1969. It is 6 centimeters in diameter and colored red. Found when the classified company was hired to clean out a warehouse that had Whammo merchandise in it. SCP-18 was noted to be able to bounce with extreme height, at first thought to be a pleasant child's toy. SCP-18 was to be able to bounce with over 200% efficiency. That is, if dropped 1 meter, it will be able to bounce 2, then 4, then 8, then 16. The ball soon became a dangerous projectile, reaching speeds estimated at over 100 kilometers an hour, and damaging property and injuring 5 in the city of Classified. It came to a rest after several days in the nearby lake of Classified and was retrieved by SCP personnel. Due to the speed of the object and the total surprise by its victims, no cover-up story was required or initiated. Document 18-04. Message to 05. Classified. Classified. I hope everything's well. The reason I wrote you this because I believe that I found a more effective method for retrieving new or escaped SCPs. I realize we haven't been doing any progress reverse engineering whatever allows this thing to identify the laws of thermodynamics, but with a very effective method for integrating one of new SCP-A5 armor suits with this. Just hear me out. We implant into the bottom of a boot, rig up a little bit of mechanical device, and ta-da! The suit is now capable of jumping well over a building. Also, if the wearer has their foot against something they want dead, well, let's just say it delivers a hell of a kick. All I need is permission to modify one of the pre-existing SCP-A5 suits. If you'll be able to capture Classified, plus any other escaped SCP objects, trust me, when in the world have I ever let you down in the past? Dr. Classified. Document 18-6. Letter to Dr. Classified. Upon assignment, Agent Classified was issued your modified SCP-A5 armor in retrieving SCP Classified, and the results are mixed. Agent Classified was able to place the Classified color into SCP Classified, chased through the Amazon, and restrained by dismemberment. However, due to the malfunction of your little mechanical device, he was launched almost a mile into the air and suffered 2 broken legs, 7 broken ribs, and missed an arm. and a skull fracture upon hitting the water lake classified. And the water back down. You will fix that before I authorize your armor for common use. Document 18-11, message to 05, classified. Don't worry, it's fixed. But I have some more ideas. If I can be granted to use some of the water from SCP 006, SCP classified, and possibly SCP classified, I can deliver you a set of SCP A5 armor and an agent that can capture any, if not all, rogue or untamed SCPs. All I'm waiting on is for your approval. Dr. Classified. And that is the end of that document. The fact that a ball can do so much damage is just crazy. Well, that's the SCP Foundation for you. Okay, next SCP. SCP-19. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-19 is to be kept on a wide grate in a 3 by 3 by 4 reinforced concrete room installed with an incinerator. Room is to be kept at 0 degrees Celsius when incinerator is not activated. An observation chamber separated by a plate of glass windows is to be used by constant observation of SCP-19. If when specimens of SCP-19-2 are observed, the incinerator is to be activated in the event of an outbreak of SCP-19-2. Ordinary firearms are successful in terminating individual specimens, although in the case of swarm-level outbreak, flamethrower may be more effective. SCP-19 may be kept in a vertical position at all times. Description. SCP-19 appears to be a very large ceramatic vase, 1.2 meter in diameter, and at the mouth, and 2.4 meters height. Style and decoration indicate that it was created in classic Greece, although conclusive dating is impossible. At the surface is entirely unbreakable by unknown means. If a successful method is discovered, SCP-19 is to be destroyed with prejudicance. Periodically, entities emerge from SCP-19. Collectively, these are known as SCP-19-2. The entities vary in many aspects, but tend to be small, humanoid, though they may have animaloid features and in many aspects, but tend to be small and extremely hostile. They often choose to attack with teeth, claws, although fairly delicate, also surprisingly flammable. They are also reasonably strong and pose a considerable threat in large numbers. When kept at 0 degrees Celsius and totally at rest, entities will emerge from SCP-19 at a rate of approximately 1 entity per hour. And the following traits are known to affect SCP-19-2's manifestation rate. Number 1. Movement of SCP-19. Number 2. Threat to SCP-19. Number 3. extreme temperature heights and lows. Number 4, sudden shift in surrounding environment, introduction of objects or organisms to the inside of SCP-19, known to cause a flood reaction. Traits that may or may not influence SCP-19-2's manifestation rate. 1. Presence of human life near SCP-19. 2. Current weather patterns. 3. Specific individuals near SCP-19. Some individuals seem to affect SCP-19-2's emergence rate. Emergence rate more drastic than others. In addition, tipping or tilting SCP-19 will cause a reaction, as it was previously filled with SCP-19-2 specimens. And though viewers looking into SCP-19 from above will merely observe a dark hole due to the productivity rates of SCP-19-2, and the object is disturbed. Measurement of an internal cavity is difficult, but it is suspected to be inconsistent with outside measurements. Addendum. Document SCP-19-2A. SCP-19-2 notes as maintained by Dr. Light or Dr. Vox. Classified. SCP-19 specimen was removed from containment chamber. It kept it in reinforced pen. Provided with water and live chickens as food. Specimen made quiet. Continuous garbled vocalizations determined to be similar to ancient Hellenic languages. Although the reason for this is unknown, specimens are still thought to be no more intelligent than animals. The specimen lived for less than 48 hours, and a dissection revealed anomaly consistent on a cellular level with normal biology. But this is extremely unstable musculoskeletal structure. If other noticeable anomalies included an unstable respiratory system, nearly non-existent digestive tract, and virtual organs. All others captured specimens have been found similar patterns, behavior, and demise. Note. It's similarly that SCP-19-2 specimens are not intended to live forever for meaningful accounts of time. Outside of SCP-19, Dr. Vox. Classified. Containment unit was slightly damaged following the prolonged exposure to SCP-19-2 specimen. Missed by monitoring team because of partial transparency. This has not been noted in SCP-19 before. Monitoring teams will continue to report further anomalies. Classified. Monitoring teams report some specimens of SCP-19-2 now appearing to be significantly more resistant to incineration than others. It is hypnotized that this is a defense mechanism on the part of SCP-19. Classified. Most specimens of SCP-19-2 are now, but all, entirely resistant to the effects of the incinerator. A replacement of incinerator with an acid bath is being considered. Evolution of SCP-19-2 is being studied, and may be evidence of sentience in SCP-19. Okay. Now we're on SCP-20. SCP-20. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Samples of SCP-20 are stored in a series of sealed cultivation chambers inside a sealed containment room at Biologist's Research Area 12, which is accessible only by via airlock. Nutrients are administered via automated robotic systems, as the cultivation chamber must remain sealed at all times. Sealed video surveillance cameras are instantly installed within the containment room and must be checked daily for integrity. Any personnel entering the containment room must wear biosafety level 5, check daily for equipment including rebreathe, and undergo full antifungal disinfection upon exiting. Description: SCP-20 is a fast-spreading fungal organism that is capable of affecting the senses and behavior of living creatures, including humans. Samples of SCP-20 inhabit an unknown effect that renders them effectively invisible to direct observation, even when under a microscope. SCP-20 is only visible to once SCP-20 forms a colony, usually within a human residence. It will produce spores that affect the behavior of humans around it. Affected subjects will increase the heat and humidity within their homes to create an environment more suitable to the growth of SCP-20. Affected subjects will become more sociable in many cases and often invite acquaintances to their homes, further spread their organisms. As the spores and more colonials are invisible to infected subjects, and mold may sometimes grow directly on living subjects. As spores and colonies within a home approach critical concentration, the health of infected human subjects will rapidly deteriorate, resulting in death. Further spread of the mold may occur as the bodies of any deceased subjects are encountered by emergency responders and healthcare agents, as well as transportation of the bodies to located morgues. SCP-20 was the first encountered in Redacted, where an undiscovered SCP agent noted dramatic personality changes in personnel working at the local hospital. Upon investigating by a containment team, it was discovered that almost classified civilians had been infected, as well as the majority of the town. The civilian population was terminated, and all the town incinerated under cover of a local flash forest fire. To date, under 12 outbreaks of SCP-20 have been reported. Investigations are currently underway to determine the source of these outbreaks and possible prevention measures. Addendum 20-1. Excerpts from audio and visual mission recorders from Mobile Task Force ETA 10. See no evil. During the initial containment of SCP-20 on Redacted, Team 2 moving into the Red House. Copy. UAV 1 is picking up on 1 heat signature. Team 2, open in place. Ready to breach. Door opening. At this point, civilian woman appeared in the doorway, holding a kitchen knife. Video surveillance shows that nearly two-thirds of her face was covered by mold growths. Civilian woman. Well, hello there, gentlemen. Take a breather inside. On the ground. On the ground. Drop the weapon. Don't be silly. Come on in and stay a while. Stop. Stop where you are. Drop the weapon right now. We just want to have some guests. Please, come on in. We just want to have some company. Drop the weapon. Drop the weapon right now. It is assumed at this point that the infected civilian noticed T-24 carrying a primed incendiary weapon and lunged forward at the team members with the knife. Civilian woman. Data expunged. Open fire! Open fire! Open fire! Open fire right now! Gunfire. Screaming. That was a depressing end. And that is going to cut it for this that's going to cut it for this session. I will return tomorrow. Maybe not. Again, only the Foundation gives me good reviews. Well, have a good have a good rest of the night and have a good night's sleep. Well, or good morning or good afternoon, depending on what time you see this. But I've done 10 through 20, so I've done 11 through 20, excuse me. So, if y'all want to see more, you know what you have to do. Wait, what? What? Hold up a second. Yeah? You said do one more? So guys, look like my bosses just contacted me and said they wanted me to do one more SCP tonight. So hope you haven't clicked off or signed out yet. So we're gonna do one. This is the last one we're gonna do for tonight. Okay. We're gonna be checking out SCP-21. Object class, safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-21 is an obligate parasite of the human body. Containment, therefore, there is no more difficult than containing an adult human. Most cells will survive. Item is currently housed in detonation cell 217A on subject D139. Only D-class personnel are eligible for hosting SCP-21. As long as a given subject survives as a host for at least SCP-21, he is exempt from normal monthly terminations of D-class personnel. Description: SCP-21 takes the form of a large and elaborate tattoo and a sentient dragon in the ornated style, covering approximately 0.8 square meters of skin. This tattoo is fully animate within the confines of its host skin and behaves largely as a normal animal would, al- albeit only has two dimensions. The animal the animal movements the tattoo's movement causes consistent pain to its host, comparable and similar in character to simulations, tattooing and tattoo removal on a large scale. The organism tends to spread most of its time on and near the torso. SCP-21 displays no intelligence beyond an organism that tends to spread most of its time near the basic pattern of feeding and locomotion, although it's actually measuring the intelligence of a two-dimensional life form has proven impossible thus far. SCP-21 appears to feed exclusively on pigments in the host's skin. This can include melanin, in which case the subject appears to be suffering from vitiligo. However, organism shows a marked preference for other tattoos and will seek out and devour these before resulting in natural pigments. If should be noted, vanishes as it's eaten. The organism maintains a constant size, and there's no increases has been observed. The organism is capable of clearing over 0.6 square meters of skin per hour, and may feed SCP-21 by quickly tattooing fruits or small animals on the host. SCP-21 can be transferred between hosts in various forms of physical contact, with different rates of success. In the case of successful transfer, the organism swiftly swims from one person to the other. Beep intercourse appears to be the most relatable method of transfer, with a 93% rate of transmission. However, due to the severe pain it is involved, this is less than ideal. Contact between two open rooms is generally preferable. Transfer is more complicated in deceased subjects, though not unreasonably so. The organism suffers no ill effects from the death of its hosts and continues to consume a pigment transmission between species is unknown. Previous tests suggest that it continues to consume pigments. Transmission between species is unknown. Previous tests suggest it must be either impossible or exceedingly rare. SCP-21 does not confer some benefits to its host. The tattoo has been proven to accelerate the release and reuptake of epinephrine and decrease lactic and acid buildup, preventing boosts of strength, confidence of pain tolerance is stressful solutions, and reducing the usual after the effects of weakening the fatigue. In addition, generally higher than average though. Whether this is a direct effect of the tattoo or simply a reaction of constant pain remains to be seen. The symbiotic relationship is usually limited by how long the host can tolerate such pain in everyday life. This has culminated in suicides and a number of subjects. In rare cases, hosts have also fallen victim to fatal skin infections. With SCP-21's origins and nature are a mystery. Tracing its transmission from host to host hardly feasible within the confines of secrecy, and the organism could be well hundreds of years old, if not more. Nevertheless, SCP-21's captivity is one of the longest in Foundation's history, at nearly its 100 years, and it's been very educational thus far. Current research focuses mainly on observing the characteristics of life in 2 dimensions. Huh. I think I get why the SCP Foundation wanted me to read that now. It's because it's one of the longest they've ever contained. Good on you. But oh, new information. SCP-21 on subject D-124, now deceased. I see. Well, I think this thing should be a Euclid, but that's just my opinion. So, whatever. Anyway, as I was saying earlier, this will conclude our session for today. Now, this will really conclude our session for today. We're doing nothing after this. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed the little extra there. And I will see you again at this time, or more or less, who knows, sometime tomorrow. And one of my favorite YouTubers, I think Long Live Games guy was his name, whatever. I think he's going to be uploading new stuff very soon. Yeah. So see you guys next. See you guys tomorrow, I think. Whatever. It depends if I get a good review on this.